Listen, I just want to say a quick thank you. This is exciting to see what's happening, and I want to thank Bob. What a pioneer here, and talk to some of the others who have been taking advantage of this technology and looking at this in a way. I want to also recognize Sean Duffy's office here. I think his office is here as well. But thank you very much, and we're looking forward to the program.
That was short. When I met him in back of the room earlier, he said, we're only going to be here for 45 minutes. And I thought that was because he was going to talk for 45 minutes. Turns out it wasn't that long, but you could have taken more time than that, Dave. You're doing exciting things at the state. And just want to remind everybody today is election primary day. So if you have not voted already, please do get out and exercise that privilege as an American. So just a couple of minutes as to where we're at, where the state of the industry is here, and who we are. I often get asked, what is your reason for being involved in this? I'm a newcomer to the compressed natural gas industry. This is not a commercial for ourselves, but I think the background may be of importance, or at least give you guys some perspective. We've been roofing contractors for 26 years, 27 years in the area. We're well established in that. We do a lot of diverse things. My frustration with running a small business with a fleet of 15, 20 trucks over the course of the years was just, how do you plan for a fuel budget? Do you plan at $4 a gallon? Do you plan at $2 a gallon? And you know that it can fluctuate that much in a very short amount of time. So a year or two ago, I started really thinking about this, and about 6 months ago, I said we have to get something done in order to be able to plan budgets looking ahead. And of course, compressed natural gas is, to me, the best alternative, because it's the only alternative fuel that's less expensive than what it seeks to replace, which to me makes it very viable. You look at wind, you look at solar. Our company also installs solar roofing, but it's an expensive energy compared to other types of energy. So that's kind of what drove us into this. And then I looked around and where would I fuel up? Nobody's got a fueling station in central Wisconsin. And who would convert our vehicles, or how would we go about that? And so we just really decided to bring this group of people, and this is, as Corey said, our 4th meeting that we've had, and there's been a real good turnover, not because people, I think, have gotten sick of us because they're still watching us, but you know, it's a matter of getting this information out on an ongoing basis so that people can decide if it makes sense for them or not. We get a lot of calls from people who drive 12,000 miles a year and think they drive a lot and they want to do this because it's going to save them money. That's not the deal. But if you put a lot of miles on or burn a lot of gas, this technology can make an awful lot of sense. So hopefully we'll have some good information here today. And again, just a very quick recap. Most of you have heard this, but why compressed natural gas? Well, it's American. It's abundant. I just spent the morning over at Westwood Conference Center with WPS. They invited me over, and they were talking about the global supply. And right now the price of compressed natural gas is $2.50 a decatherm, which I can't get my head around a decatherm, but it's a measurement that is used. A number of years ago, it was $14 a decatherm. It's down at $2.50 a decatherm. And this one analyst over there said it may even go down to $1 a decatherm. So we're looking at, some real huge, abundant American supply that isn't dependent upon foreign dictators burping or talking about the Strait of Hormuz in a way that is not so pleasant for all of us. And that, of course, will spur our local, our national economy. It'll reduce our trade deficit. It'll save us money. The thing that I like about it as well is that it's environmentally friendly. So that's really the quick recap of compressed natural gas. And what's happened since we kind of started here 6 months ago? Well, we've got Reeser will be talking about their station that they're putting in at Rib Mountain. That's going to be a wonderful asset to the community. We've installed our very small fueling station in Stratford. It's public access. It's up and pumping. It isn't what you're going to want to pull 3 semi-trucks in a row up to and fill up, I can tell you that, but it is scalable, so we'll work on that. In just a couple minutes, I'm going to give Eric Cruz from Quick Trip a couple minutes to share what Quick Trip sees. That's an insertion and kind of an extra into your agenda, so that'll be fun to listen to that for just a minute. And if you want to see some compressed natural gas vehicles, we have some out in the parking lot. I've got my truck out there. It's converted sequential injection with an EPA certified kit. Look beyond the fact that a deer ran into my door, this rogue deer on Friday morning. I'm driving uptown to fill gas, and this deer runs across. I avoid him, and the next one plows right smack into my door. So it's not that I'm driving around pretending it doesn't exist. It's just that I haven't had time to get my feet on the ground and get my insurance company called. So there's a truck out there with a smashed in door with a wonderful CNG system in it, as well as a number of others. And I know Honda Motor Works is here, and I imagine they brought up a CNG vehicle. I can't imagine why they would want to put $3.90 a gallon gas in if they have the opportunity to put gas in at half of that or less. Now, we may have some gaps in what we're sharing here today. James Palmer from EcoDual was going to be here talking a little bit about what EcoDual has to offer in terms of EPA. Again, this is not a sales presentation. He had to cancel for us. So what we're trying to figure out, and Keith will shed a lot more light on this later, is there seems to be a gap in conversions, and that is that medium duty side. We're going to be talking about light duty side, heavy duty side, give you examples of how the mountain vehicles do all of that kind of thing. And there may actually be some controversial issues and topics shared here today. I'm not endorsing any of it necessarily. If you ask me personally, I'll tell you this is what I believe, this is what I believe. Not controversial in a real bad sense, but just in the sense of I encourage you to do your own research. We're here to share information, to network, to put you guys together, and then allow you to make your own decisions. That being said, one final thing on the legislative front often we have is Bryce Luchterhand from Senator Cole's office here. You're here? Okay, good. Thanks. I thought we were forgetting someone. Often, did you want to say anything, Bryce?
No, we're fine. I'm here to learn to pass it on to the senator.
Good, excellent. Appreciate that. Just on the way of the legislative front, the Nat Gas Act was voted down in the Senate about 2 weeks ago. That could cause people cause for alarm. It was a really good incentive. On the other hand, I believe that this is the kind of technology that stands on its own without federal incentives. That being said, we'd welcome federal incentives because everybody likes to have their hand out, but it is what it is. At this point, the Nat Gas Act didn't go through. I don't see that as a really bad thing. Are there any questions before we start, or anything that you came here specifically to learn, just to make sure that we kind of get the tenor of what you're here for? If not, I'd like to just turn it over to Eric for just a couple minutes to share what Quick Trip is doing, and then I'll share the results of a survey that we had commissioned relative to natural gas.
Thanks, Bob. At Quick Trip, we've done a couple seminars with Bob, and we really appreciate the fact what he is doing to be a leader in the central Wisconsin area, and also the aspect of conversion. Getting vehicles to the masses is really a good goal. We want to see Bob continue to be successful in this, and then I want to talk real briefly about what Quick Trip's point is in natural gas. From a fleet side of it, we are including it in our fleet, converting both our light duty and then purchasing from our truck side. We run 18 million miles a year in our trucking side of it, so it made good sense for both CNG and LCNG for us to participate on that level. What we see with our 400 plus stations in the 3-state area is being able to help provide that infrastructure. We want to see it benefit communities, whether it be from busing, school bus, mass transit, different trucking industry. Being able to get your product to market at a better rate gives you an advantage. And if that means regionally, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa can benefit, and economically, what Bob talked to as far as helping that growth, we see that as a great benefit for all the residents and citizens of Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa, along with on a national scale, that being beneficial to everybody. So thank you for being here. Again, we appreciate Bob and everything that he's done to bring this to the forefront, and we wish him nothing but success. Thanks, Bob.
And just a quick question, Eric. Your opening, can you give us kind of a sequence of events of what you're doing with regards to stations?
Most definitely. May 10th, we have a grand opening, and everyone's welcome. There's some cards that I set out on the back for participation. We'll have some major players in the industry available for speaking on the industry, what's going on with natural gas, more of an information type of seminar for natural gas. We'll also 40 to 50 natural gas vehicles, everything from Class 1 to Class 8 style vehicles. All the major OEMs will be represented there. Peterbilt, Kenworth, Volvo, Mack, Freightliner, International, with the Navistar backing. Buses, mass transit, school bus, and then refuse and cement trucks. In La Crosse, we're opening up our fuel island to the public. We'll have propane, natural gas, both CNG and LNG available, different diesels, bio B5 and B20 along with the 85 at that facility. We're adding CNG to our Cass Street facility in La Crosse. Then in Sturtevant, Wisconsin, which is just south of Milwaukee, that'll be open as the first week of May. And then Rochester, Minnesota is slated for the fall. We are being heavily pursued in different areas and markets as far as when and where we can help at. We really want to be able to bring it to as many communities as possible, being able to connect those corridors, allow people to not have to go the path to find natural gas, to be able to really bring those vehicles to the masses and let everybody enjoy that savings, really, for the transportation cost. So again, come down, feel free to join us May 10th, see what Quick Trip's involvement is, how we're happy to see individuals like Bob and other companies that we're trying to allow that platform to grow their businesses as well. So,
Thank you.
Bob.
And we'll have time for questions later as well. What we like to have is free-flowing, where you guys are asking each other questions, and I know most of you who are in the room, so I can, direct traffic